Hey there everyone, my name is Jenna. Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I figured we'd style some of my new decor pieces together because I've been collecting a lot lately and I've kind of accumulated a lot of things from all over the place. We got stuff from the thrift stores, we got stuff from the outlets that I've scored, we got stuff that I sourced online. So it's all here and I figured we'd do the styling together so you guys can kind of get some fun decorating ideas for your own space and just see how, I personally like to use pieces to transform empty corners and refresh surfaces like coffee tables and console tables. So I hope you all enjoy it, and without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so the first thing that I found was actually at the Anthropologie outlet. I know I've shared about the Anthropologie outlet several times on my channel, but we are lucky enough to have one here in the Phoenix area. So I go there sometimes. They also have a found section with some like old antique pieces that are usually really unique and fun. So I usually go there mainly just to go through the antiques, but sometimes I find a gem in the other sections, and this time I found these really beautiful footed, like antique looking bowls. Now I will say that they look a lot older than they feel. This actually was a set of 3, and at the outlet this was $30, and then they were having their 30% off sale, so it was like 20 bucks for all 3 of these. There is one more smaller one that I have displayed out in our room, so I'll kind of show you how I style that. But what I thought was really neat about these is that they look like that old vintage antique brass. I love anything with a beautiful patina on it. It just helps to add character to your home. It adds that lived-in feel, which makes it feel a lot more comfortable and approachable. When you incorporate those items into your space that have a little dusty finish on them, that have that weathered wood, that have that beautiful crusty patina. Maybe crusty patina is not the right way to say it, but you guys know what I mean. When you have those pieces that have kind of the new edge knocked off of them, they help your space to feel really comfortable and casual and lived in. And this is something that you absolutely 100% see in almost every single designer space because of the feeling that it evokes. So while these are not vintage, they definitely have a vintage look to them, and I was able to score them for a really cheap price. They are available on the Anthropologie website for I think $130 for a set of 3, but I will say I do think they are expensive for what they are. Really what's going to be great is just putting some floral foam in here, and then I can collect branches from outside, I can forage things, I can use my faux stems. And for me personally, I love these like beautiful occasion arrangements, and when I have them throughout my house it brings a lot of joy. The smaller sizes will be really great to accent larger vases. A lot of times I'm looking for things that fit in with a group of 3, so the smaller sizes will be really nice just to kind of pop on places like console tables, or to accent a larger vase on a table, just to kind of add that brassy beautiful warmth and patina in there, and just be something of a different height and shape to complement like a larger vase. And also I love that there were different sizes, so you can utilize the designer trick of repetition. You can just style 2 of these together on a shelf without anything in them. You could drape some beads out of them. You could just simply put a branch or 2 in them for some beautiful sculptural movement. It doesn't have to be fancy. It can be really simple and casual, but I liked that these had that beautiful faux patina on them. Even though they're not true antiques, they definitely have the look of them like they are, and I love the variation and the casual rustic feel that they have. Okay, so this next piece is kind of a fall item, and it was a little bit of a splurge, but it's one of those pieces that I'm talking about when I say invest in quality faux florals. These are definitely that. So I got these 2 stems of beautiful kind of like rustic twiggy fall foliage branches. Now these guys were $28 per stem, which is a little pricey, but they're from Magnolia, and oftentimes you can like sign up for emails and get a 20% off coupon. So I did use the 20% off coupon. I will link these below, as well as anything from this video that I can link. It'll all be linked down in the description box. But I really loved these because of the coloring on them and the shape and texture of the leaves themselves. So you all know one of my go-to tips when you get faux florals is you gotta bend them. So right now this is how they looked straight out of the box. The stems themselves are very straight. Honestly, these are so beautiful and textured, the leaves, but we gotta give these stems some bends. So basically, that's how how things naturally occur in nature. This just makes them feel a lot more organic, a lot more lifelike, and kind of gives them that like sculptural movement that I always look for in faux florals. So what I love about these is the coloring. They are so perfect for fall, and they're so large that you only need 2 stems, so they can really make a statement. And the coloring on these stems is so beautiful. How these do just actually appear to be like withering oak leaves, turning, like you can see the tips of them are all brown and shriveled, and the part that's closer to the stem is a little bit more orange and colorful. So it really does give off such a lifelike feel. So I call these like my statement stems, and usually I'll put this on somewhere where, you know, I really want to add movement and draw your eye. So somewhere like a kitchen island or a dining table or a console table to add some height and create a focal point. These are like my statement stems for the season of fall. So they're so beautiful, and I love the earthy look of them. Okay, so this next thing is also from Magnolia, and I did use a coupon on these as well, but I figured the price on them was actually pretty decent. And I've showed these on my channel before, but I don't think I've actually talked about them. These are beautiful handled, kind of like French inspired pots. And this smaller one was $28, and then this one was $58 before the coupon. And that kind of sounds a little bit on the pricey end, but it's actually a really good deal when you consider that actual French antique confit pots are like hundreds of dollars, and these very, very closely resemble those. I love the crackle detail on here and how they appear to actually have that beautiful, again, faux patina. That is new, but it looks to be old. The new is worn off. There's like crackle detail. They kind of appear to have that like old crockery European vintage flair to them, which I love. They're just so charming, and anytime I can buy a set of 2, I try to do it. Even if I don't necessarily style them together, I like to have the option to do that in the future, especially if they're a piece that's as pretty as these. I love to utilize the designer trick of repetition in my styling, so it's nice to have a piece that's larger and then style a smaller sized piece that's similar right next to it. So I'll do that when I style faux stems or doing my console table styling or even my shelf styling. I think it's just a nice thing to have both, but I think right now what I'm actually going to do is use this smaller one as a little utensil crock, because to me this piece has such a good amount of character to it. I love the little winged detail and how it does really resemble those old European pots, and I love the coloring on it as well. It's still very neutral, really earthy, and just appears to have that old rustic look to it. Also, the inside of these jars do appear to be sealed, so you could put water in here. You could also style some beautiful stems in them. I did see that they had it styled like that on the Magnolia website, and that's kind of what sold me, because I was like, oh my gosh, those are so beautiful for like cut flowers, or, you know, if I want to do a nice floral arrangement in one of these and have it look kind of like old world and vintage, this is totally the piece to make that statement. So just some fun, versatile pieces that resemble old world antiques that are a little bit more budget friendly. Okay, so if you guys remember when I was styling our console table and our living room makeover, I used that like rustic urn style lamp that I've had for many, many years. I love like the handles on it and kind of the old world quality. But when I was at, surprise, the Anthropologie outlet, I passed this lamp with this beautiful, really earthy, kind of casual looking hand woven lampshade. And the base looked to be kind of like an organic, natural river rock with just some beautiful texture on it. And I saw that lamp and I was like, that is beautiful, but it was so expensive. It was $385 at the outlet. And I was like, you know what? No, like you do not need that lamp, even though it would go perfect in that spot. I can just picture it next to our ocean print, but no, you do not need that. And then I was really thinking about it because they had their 30% off sale, and I was like, you know, I wonder if that lamp is still there. It's like that voice in your head that you cannot turn off. So I went back, and of course it was still there. And when we were sitting there, we put it on a surface that was kind of similar in wood tone to our console table, just to kind of look at it and take some measurements. And Mike was like, you know what, if the measuring tape can hit the lamp without bending, then we'll get it. And you know, at this point I'm just decision fatigued. I'm like, like I'm over like thinking if I should or shouldn't, and I'm like tormenting myself over it. So it's like, you know what? You're right. If it breaks, we won't get it. If it makes it to it, we'll get it. So of course we look like total weirdos doing this, but the measuring tape did not bend. So we in fact bought it and put it in our space, and I love how it looks on our console table. It totally has that earthy vibe to it because you have that beautiful natural woven material on the lampshade, which just adds a really nice warmth and texture. And then you have the base, which, you know, feels very natural. It is not a real rock, but it looks to be. You kind of have to touch it to see if it is or isn't. And it just has that really natural, earthy feel. And here in the desert, you know, we are surrounded by a lot of rocks. So I love how it seems to kind of bring that outside landscape inside and blends the two a little bit, and just kind of gives a nod back to like that earthy, really natural, organic feel. And it looks great even paired with like the beach image that I took in Laguna Beach. So I like how those look together as well. And it's just a really unique piece that just fits in perfectly with that organic, timeless, kind of like modern rustic decor that I love so much. Okay, so next, you all know that I love that beautiful, like casual, Mediterranean, rustic vibe in my space. So I found this gorgeous vintage olive jar at Goodwill for $25, you guys. And what's crazy is they sell these online for like $100 and up. They are vintage olive jars from like the Mediterranean region. So I just love like the old world rustic look that these have. You guys, if you watch my channel, you know I have these all over my home. I put them on my coffee table. I put them in my shelf styling. I put them on my dining room table. They're just so versatile, and I love that old world feel that they instantly give to your space. They're so rustic looking, and I can't believe that I found one at the thrift store. So you guys know I probably styled them on like every single table surface in my space. So what I actually thought I would do with this one is, you guys saw that I thrifted that really pretty kind of like vintage iron stand. It came originally with like this weird woven cone in it. So I just removed that, and then I put a little vase in there. And I actually thought this would look a little bit prettier in there, because the one that I had in there originally was from Home Goods, and I'm actually going to move that one out to our patio because I have another very similar terracotta vase out there, and I figured that would look pretty kind of layered in with that. So then I'll move this one in its spot, and this will be a little bit more of a statement and just kind of have that old rustic vintagey feel. And then I'm going to style some olive stems in it, because obviously this was an old olive jar, and the olive stems that I have, they are from Etsy and they're pretty reasonable. So I'll link those below as well. But I thought that that would be just kind of like a nice little easy way to elevate the vase and give it its own little statement in like a corner or a nook, or just somewhere where I needed to add a little extra interest in my home for $25. Okay, so this next thing was a steal of an Anthropologie outlet find yet again. We have quite a few of those in today's video, but like I said, I like to just peruse through the Anthropologie outlet mainly because I like to see what antiques I can score in there. And when I was going through, I saw this really beautiful kind of like worn distressed leather footed ottoman, and the price sticker on there was $1,000, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's like so expensive for a little ottoman. But I went over to one of the employees that was working there, and I just kind of asked her, and I was like, is that right? Is that like part of a set, or is that by itself? And then she called the manager over, and they did mark it down to $200. So it was still a little pricey for me personally, but I just thought it was such a unique piece with that beautiful distressed leather and how earthy it looked in combination with the wood. And it's one of those pieces that I just thought was so beautiful, and I was so drawn to it, and I didn't have a spot for it, but I knew that I had to have it, and I would work that out later. I did find the perfect spot for it in our guest room actually, and I figured this was so perfect because this can be an extra little surface for guests to put their suitcases or lay out their clothes or any of their items that they need to like kind of just have out, because our guest room is a little bit small. It's the room I'm filming in right now, so there's not a lot of space to put things. There's not a dresser, nothing like that. So I figured it'd be perfect just to pop in that corner, and to make it look a little bit more decorative, I'll pop a little tray that I got at the thrift store on there, some books, and then a plant, just like a cute little surface where I can place towels for guests, you know, leave the Wi-Fi code, leave them a book, or you know, whatever. It also would be cute for maybe like a little mini coffee table or a side table. We don't really have a spot for that in the house, but I just figured it'd be so perfect in the guest bedroom as like another little surface to make the space feel a little bit more rounded out, a little bit more cozy, and a little bit more functional. Okay, so I'm kind of sounding like a broken record at this point, but I just love incorporating pieces into my space that have a unique texture to them, whether that's a patina or a hand-fired clay, or just something with, you know, more of an aged look to it, just to provide that extra texture and interest and warmth for my spaces. So I found this beautiful aged charcoal pot at, surprise, the Anthropologie outlet, and these are actually from Terrain. They actually do have these available online, I do believe. believe. They don't have all of the ones that I purchased, but they have some available. And what's actually really cool about these is they have a highly variable mineral content so that when they go through the firing process, each one kind of comes out a little bit differently. And according to the website, they do say that during the aging process, like an actual real moss develops on them. So they kind of have that antique appearance with that beautiful kind of like green mossy look to them. And it's funny because there were a bunch at the Anthropologie outlet, and I got so many of them because I was like, I could just see these all layered on like a beautiful little potting station eventually. I think it'd be really fun to have that in our backyard once we start to redo the backyard. Right now for this one, I'm just gonna pop my little basil that I have from Trader Joe's in here, and I'll have that on my countertop for now. And then once we do end up doing the backsplash and the open shelving, I'll probably incorporate more herbs in there since everything is right next to a window. Things grow really good in our kitchen, so that'll be nice to kind of have an indoor garden, especially when the sun gets so hot and intense here in the summer. It's nice to at least have some climate controlled herbs that I can use in my cooking. So it'll be nice to have a little collection, so you know, I can put some together, even maybe mount some on a wall. Like I could do a little hanging wall garden somewhere in our backyard, or even somewhere next to a window with a lot of light. There's so many opportunities, especially because now I have so many of the pots and I like that they match, but each one is unique and has its own special look to it with like that variation with the texture and the finish. All right, everyone, that about wraps up this little haul. I hope you guys enjoyed seeing some of my new pieces and how I'm planning to style them. If you did, please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. It really does help to support my channel, and make sure that you're subscribed so you don't miss my future home decorating videos. And I just want to thank you all so much for watching this video. I hope you have a wonderful and fabulous week, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye!